page.
Steady stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to worry about that. But we can just we can keep the small talk rolling until we know that the stream's good. But
I gotta remember, like, not to show my work logo on my cup.
I mean, I don't think you should have to worry about it unless you're worried about giving them free promotion.
Yeah, I mean, it's against the rules.
Oh yeah, I get that. One of the places on my list for tonight, I can't say the name of it because if I say their name, I'll get sued for slander.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I think all the
literally.
places on the list.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I hope you're gonna be legally okay after tonight because I literally signed a contract that said if I say anything negative about this company, that they can and will sue me for slander, which is why they're on my list.
We could like unslander it, and we could be like top favorite corporations that are great to work for and are never horrible.
Yeah.
Ever. Legally, we
I
say
only
that.
have one because I've only ever worked for one corporation, and of course they're defunct now. So I guess they kind of got what they deserved.
I mean, you've had plenty of jobs that you could just shit on, though.
But I don't want to shit on any of my jobs. So I've always kind of had. Well, I do have another job I can shit on. I won't say their name, but I can definitely shit on it.
I mean, you've had to have had some shitty jobs in your time.
Oh yeah, I have.
Like jobs where they just fuck you over every single day.
Oh yeah.
Small businesses can be worse than corporations sometimes.
That's mostly
because there's like no HR.
That's all mostly I've ever worked for is small businesses.
I never really thought about it like that. I mean, I guess that makes sense when you think about like all the bar owners on the comedy scene that are fuckwads and fuck everyone over.
Oh, I've dealt with that a lot.
Exactly.
Well, the stream looks really good. It's really strong tonight, and we are not lagging out. So I'm going to go ahead. And if you guys are ready, we can go ahead and start the show.
Yeah, let's watch it.
All right. Get your coffee on. You guys ready?
Oh, it's moonshine.
Oh, it's moonshine.
I'm drinking moonshine.
Where's mine? I want some. You know what? I had a buddy of mine that used to get some moonshine from Hancock County, and the guy would put he'd put what not
antifreeze.
No, he'd put like icy like snow cone the
syrup.
He would
put, like from the slushy machines at the gas station?
Yeah, like the slushy stuff. And he would put that in the moonshine. So you would get like green apple, birthday cake, any kind of like slushy flavor you wanted. Dude, it was awesome, but it was also very dangerous because it was like drinking gasoline. Like you have like 3 shots and you're like, you know, running naked down I-10.
Yeah. I'm going to assume you don't know that from experience.
No, well, yeah. I've lived a very interesting life, but let's go ahead and get this thing started, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Open Micers Podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig, and our guest tonight is former local comedian Genevieve Murdick. She also hosts the So What Did I Miss podcast. Genevieve, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing great. Just coming off a long day of hard labor and ready to talk about stuff. I got my cup.
Yeah.
I got
you do have your cup. You have your cup full of moonshine. We were talking before the podcast about how you and Jason have never met before, and I didn't realize this because we met at like the same shows that me and Jason go to all the time.
Maybe it was
I think we've been in the same room together.
You've
Maybe.
definitely been in the same room together.
Maybe we just never
Mhm.
met in person. Because there was a lot of times that, there were nights that I missed or couldn't be there, or maybe you were there on the
Well,
nights that I wasn't there.
we would ride over together to the open mics at the first one at Alabama Music Box,
Hmm.
and then the second one when it moved to the Merry Widow. And that's where I met Genevieve. And I don't think we had a conversation in person, but I found you on Facebook and friended you because in comedy it's socially acceptable to do that after you just see
Well,
someone do a set.
we laughed really hard at each other's jokes.
Yeah.
We shared a connection deeper than meeting.
Yeah, a little bit. And then I don't remember which one of us DM'd each other. I think you might have DM'd me. I was like, "Hey, good set," and I was like, "Yeah, you too." And then we started talking or whatever. But you really impressed me the first time I saw you because I'd never seen you before, and I could tell that you were new. I could tell that you were a bit of a rookie. And then the second time I saw you was a month later, and you had a completely flushed out, great 10-minute set. I thought it was the set of the night, and I thought to myself, like, did she really improve that much in 1 month? Like, that was kind of ridiculous to me. It blew my mind a little bit.
Yes, I did. And what I did is, well, I quit drinking at sets. That helped.
Well, yeah.
And
I mean that
also,
helps.
oh, I stopped fucking with people. Okay, what I did is October 15th, 2019. I was in Atlanta and I was at an open mic at a vape shop, and I decided then that I wanted to be a comedian. And that was the first time that I did stand up. And from that moment forward, I just gradually started cutting other stuff out of my life. So by the time you saw me the second time, I had like, that was like the day before I moved to Denver.
Yeah, it
I had
was.
already, like, I gave up sex. I wasn't drinking. All I was doing was going to work, and I worked at a motel. I was night security and front desk at a like shitty motel. I mean, actually, it's one of the better corporations I've worked for, even though they're probably also the worst. But anyway, I was working at a motel all night, so I was doing nothing all night but writing. And then the only thing that I did in my social life was go to comedy. And so that's all I did. And I got exponentially better.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I sold my soul to the devil.
oh yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking because it's just I know the Mobile scene because that's where you were before you moved to Denver, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I know that scene's a lot different than ours, but like on our scene here in on the coast, for someone to go from a you know a 5 minute set to like a solid 10 minute set, like I could put this person on a feature spot. It's almost unheard of. Like I don't know of anyone around here who's improved that much in that short amount of a time.
Well, I kind of had an advantage because like my whole background is tangentially related. Like by the time I started stand up, I've been podcasting for a long time, so it's like I speak humorously off the cuff. And then like even when I was like in middle school, I went to Dunbar Performing Arts Magnet School, and I was in their theater program and I did writing. And there would be times where they would pull me out of class to like write some original theater material, walk around the playground memorizing it all day, and like perform it for recruitment show that afternoon.
Hmm.
So I had that. I also had like performance poetry, which I've been doing for many years. And so it's like comedy was just like it was like a new writing performance project for me. Um and also it's like I had enough stage experience that's like I am not like a lot of people I notice when they start comedy, they get discouraged, like they have a horrible, embarrassing, humiliating night and they cry in public and then like they don't come back for a few weeks. Like the difference is I cry in public and then I'm back the next day.
Yeah.
So that's just how I've always been with my performance ethic. So comedy was like it was a new challenge for me. It was like a writing thing that was difficult. It was a new way to write, but still it's like I know how to apply all of my practice skills, all of my structure skills. I didn't know until like a year ago that I wanted to do comedy at all. And then like once I did, I just realized like this is just a combination of everything that I've learned my entire life. And it just like makes
Yeah.
Well, kind of
So it was
and
having
kind
that
of
I came
a
through.
natural progression.
theater background helps too, because I've told a lot of people that I'm an actor and I have a lot of actor friends and stuff, and friends that are actors that want to get into comedy, but have asked me, how do you do it? Like, what's your advice? And my main advice is if you can act, then you can write, you can do comedy if you're funny, because it's very, very close to acting. You're just basically writing your own script and performing it. So if you can memorize lines and funny ways to say things, then you can get up in front of a crowd for 5 minutes and do comedy. It's not that hard. It's just that initial first getting up there and doing it, because if you don't get a laugh, that's the discouraging part. But if you're lucky and you kind of get that first chuckle, that's where that spark hits, and you're like, I can do this. I got a laugh out of someone.
Right.
I always tell people that it's like losing your virginity or like
Yeah.
it's like breaking your hymen. Like, you can fuck with it and worry about it and take a long time to break your hymen, or you can just like take off your pants and sit on a fence
Yeah.
and bust it open. And that's the
Yeah.
only way to do it. You just gotta fucking do it. Like, I can't tell anyone how to do comedy because it's like your jokes come to you from God. So, like, I can't tell you where the jokes are for you, you know? But you just gotta do it. And then you do it again. And then you do it again.
Yeah. I
And
think
sometimes it sucks.
it does. I mean, it's definitely a grind. Like, I feel like the problem a lot of people have is that they do it again and they do it again, but they become complacent. It's like they're just going through the motions and doing the same shit. And like they grind physically by showing up, but they don't grind at home when
Yeah.
you're alone in front of a computer or a notebook writing your shit, thinking about the last time you did your set. Did this what get a laugh?
Yeah.
How big of a laugh did this get? Can I make it get a bigger laugh? I feel like most comics I know don't do that, man.
I think it comes down to the difference between being in Denver and being in Mobile is that like there's so much competition here. Like there's
Mhm.
so many people that are really, really good, and there's so many people who completely outside of any logic, like just devote their fucking life to this shit like it's a cult. And they're just
Yeah.
open micers. And I mean, and that's how I am. It's like it is a religious thing for me.
It's
It
addicting.
doesn't make any sense. I burned down my whole life to come do this, but like I I think some of it's leading by example too. Like if you do the things that you're talking about and you get better, and then they have to compete with you. But I think the complacency happens in these smaller scenes, which are like really cool and interesting. But the complacency happens when like the lifestyle isn't ingrained, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
think
It's
it
just a way
happens
of
when
thinking.
you
that's actually the
yeah,
biggest thing I miss, with all this COVID shit happening, is going out of town. Like me and Jacob going to different, even though we've had some nightmare scenarios, I
well,
still would much rather go to a new town to where I know none of these people have heard my jokes. And that's another thing why,
Yeah, that's
that I don't like doing the same open mics all the time, is because, I have different sets that I can do, but I have maybe a 30-minute solid set at this point, but it's the same people every week, and they can only hear your jokes so many times before they know what you're going to say. So trying to get out of town and winning over a whole different audience, like that's the fun to me. That's what I live for. I love going out of town and winning over entirely new audiences.
I've been doing that during the pandemic. Like my first booked show was like probably like a little over a month ago. Um, so like 2 months ago in Denver, like people started once we realized that COVID wasn't going away. And bars can't really open. People started having these cool like backyard mics or warehouse mics or like drive-in mics and shit all over Colorado. And so I started going to a random ass backyard mic where I didn't know fucking anybody. And I just like showed up and like was a good audience member and like had a sharp set. Like I wasn't rusty because I didn't like let myself get rusty during I just didn't let my I actually wrote one of my favorite new jokes on the bus ride. I take 3 bus transfers to get to this fucking place because I live in Aurora. It's all on the other side of town. So I had to, but I wrote like a joke on the bus, on that fucking bus, because I've been writing jokes on the bus jokes. Bus jokes. I actually wrote a lot of my undergrad thesis in New Orleans. I wrote a lot of that on the bus too. Bus is the place to get shit done. Also the place to get peed on. It's all connected. So I started going to these yard mics, and from there I started meeting people because I had just like a tight 10 minutes. Fucking perfect. And so I went to Greeley, and the cool thing about Colorado is Colorado's a purple state. So it's like I could play for a feminist crowd, and then I could go to like Greeley or especially like Colorado Springs, where I did a drive-in show, which was like real broy and redneck. I went to Walmart, nobody was wearing a mask. It was like time machine, but it was fucking great, man. It was like a rated R show. Somebody snuck in their 11-year-old, and the 11-year-old was like tailgating, and he got my jokes better than anybody, and it was just fucking amazing. So there's all this shit like that, and they do things like some places have microphone condoms. Some places change out the microphone and like sanitize it. So there's just all this creative energy, and I can go to a totally new crowd. Like every week, I can somewhere find a group of people that doesn't fucking know my jokes.
Yeah.
Because it's like I have been burning through material because I've been going so hard. And when I didn't have a job, it was kind of the only money that I was making, and it wasn't much, but it's just like, you know, every weekend I can count on I hook up so I can have $20 and I can like, you know, this fucking because I don't get my fucking paycheck, my first paycheck on my new job till fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, I saw you say that on Facebook.
Yeah, I like fainted and I like landed on a metal thing and got a concussion.
Jesus.
No, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm like a 100% battery, but then like when I run out, I just go straight to 0. Like that's my energy. I need 15-hour days, and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm great. I feel chipper. Where's my cup? And
that's how I am. I'll go nonstop for like 2 straight months of just not resting, doing everything I can. And then for like a 48-hour period, my body just completely shuts down on me.
Yeah, that happened to me last week. It was good shit. It needs to do that though. You're rebooting.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you talked about you had been podcasting before you started doing comedy. How long have you been podcasting for?
Probably like 3 years. Well, probably a little longer than that. My first foray into podcasting was about 2015. I did a few interviews. Also, I've done some more like academic kind of projects with podcasting. So it's a medium I've been fucking around with for.
That's cool. I love podcasting. It's 90% of my life is doing podcasts and listening to them. That's pretty much all I do is listen to podcasts and produce podcasts. I think that's what helped me too with the public speaking aspect of comedy, because I come from a musical background too. Like I don't mind being up on stage, but I was always the drummer, like hiding behind a drum set. I never, had to get up in front of people by myself and just talk. And I think that, I've been podcasting since 2012, and I've done like 5-6 shows at this point, and that's helped a lot. So if anybody, that's another avenue that people could take, is to get used to talking, is just start a podcast. about whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a medium that anybody can do it.
Yeah. And honestly, comedians are tailor made for podcasts to host them and to be on them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, before we did this, I guested on half of the podcasts in town.
Hmm.
So I mean, I had a little bit of experience just going on and trying to be funny and just being myself and talking. And it's like every famous comedian now, except for like fucking Jerry Seinfeld, has a podcast. Like fucking everyone
yeah.
has a podcast,
Yeah.
dude. And you kind of
It
have
is
to
fun
stay
to do.
relevant every day.
That's true, especially like Twitter and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be a girl on Twitter. Like I'm not a girl on Twitter. I'm not a girl on Instagram. I'm a podcast. I'm a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that way, like when people interact with me, and it does get me interacted with less. Like every once in a blue moon, I like put my tits up in there to get more interactions. Like if I'm gonna put out a podcast the next day, I'll do a titty
Yeah.
pic the day before, and then like everyone's like watching from a titty pic.
See,
Yeah,
And then
me too.
next week I put out actual content.
Jacob, you need to start showing your boobs more on our Twitter so that we can start getting some
Yeah,
more.
I really do. What people are gonna like miss this episode and then just see like a down shot of my and not understand why
Big hairy boobs.
it's happening.
We need to get kicked
I don't
off.
even have hairy boobs, man. I got like little wisps of hair. Like the carpet does not match the drapes, you know?
Oh, they're like mine.
He's smooth like a
Yeah,
dolphin.
just little wisps of hair, you know?
Yeah.
Suck on a titty, just get that little hair in your mouth.
Oh, oh,
Hey, it's a
dude.
real problem, okay?
I have Burt
Like you've never had a titty hair in your mouth.
I have Burt Reynolds chest hair, so if I tried to do a
Do
titty
you?
shot, it would just look like Burt Reynolds.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you have chest hair. I'm sorry.
I don't
just trying
either.
to get-
You're gonna have to prove it.
Look at it.
Oh wow, dude!
Yes.
Out of all the times we've gone on the road together, like I've never seen you shirtless. Like we've never had to stay in a hotel together.
I don't get shirtless. I stay clothed. I'm a never nude.
Really?
Not really. No.
I was about to say, like when me and Chris stayed in a hotel in Anniston, like we both just got down on our skivvies, man. We
Yeah.
just had to agree to bro it up, you know?
Oh, dude.
That's hot.
When I'm at the house,
right?
it's too damn hot for clothes half the time. Just lay around the underwear.
It really is.
Let the fan blow up one boxer leg and out the other. It's great.
You
Oh
gotta
my
keep
God,
the
so
boys cool.
I couldn't afford a fan. Like I have no like fan or anything in my room.
Oh.
And then I went on like a really terrible Bumble date, and we had like really bad like 2-minute sex, during which he said, "I haven't fucked like that in a minute." And then he thought my room was too hot, so he bought me a fan on Amazon, and I never talked to him
Aw.
again.
So what you're telling me is that you fucked for a fan.
Mhm. OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be watching this right now. He's like,
I mean, I got to be a Mexican dude. I got to go to a Mexican restaurant and like wear a mask half the time and be like seated very far away. I got to go on one of those post-apocalyptic Bumble dates.
oof.
Yeah. I'm so glad I don't have to try to date during this, man.
Oh yeah,
Like-
fuck this.
It'd really be a nightmare, honestly.
That was one dating service I never did when I was single. Was Bumble, because it always scared me. 'Cause
No.
it's like, like,
I did Bumble, dude. It was horrible. It's horrible from a man's perspective because it's
Yeah.
like you see these women, and even when you swipe right, the women has to message you or you disappear.
Yeah.
And no one ever
Yeah.
fucking messaged me. So I would get swiped right on from these like really hot women, and I'm like, oh man, it's happening. And then the 24 hours would expire, and I'm like, why did you swipe right, you idiot? Like just completely
She
destroys
did
my
'cause she was
self-confidence.
bored. She did it because she was bored, and society systemically beats her down. And sometimes it's like you don't want it because it might be bad, or like he might murder you. You know.
Yeah.
So you just like I just want the experience of knowing that I still got it. That people
Right.
would want to meet, hypothetically. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are doing during the pandemic. They're like window shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate
That-
dating. I had never online dated until the pandemic. Because Like, I don't own a smartphone. I own a flip phone. I'm a Luddite. I'm really weird. I normally pick up people like on Twitter
Yeah,
or
I
like in
can't say
person.
much. I picked up my girlfriend on Instagram, so that was the best dating app ever.
Yeah, Twitter is great. I like pick up people as my podcast, which is cool. Like I dated Ryan Adams of Twitter Sitters podcast for a while. Shout out to them. I actually met him as my podcast on Twitter. He had no idea like what I looked like or anything. Like we just solely based on our podcast uh developed a flirtation. And that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Ryan's my boy, man. I
Yeah.
love Ryan. My introduction to you was as Ryan's ex-girlfriend because we were at the mic together and
Oh yeah, I
I was
know.
hanging out with Ryan and he was like, "Oh man, my ex-girlfriend's here." And I saw it was you and you like I'm the kind of person where like I don't like to pick sides in anything.
Yeah.
So like I saw you do
Yeah.
that and I was like, "Oh, well she's fucking cool." Like
What
I mean,
is it?
know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I take it since you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah,
aren't
but
together, is it
what do you think of
hard?
reveal comedy? Is it what?
Is it hard for two comedians to be in a relationship together because nothing would ever be serious ever?
Oh yeah, yeah. I read a joke recently. I've got a bunch of jokes about dating comedians, and one of my little like kind of taglines that I just wrote the other day was that okay, so a comedian will try to reuse a condom, and that will be the only time all night he's not joking. And you're thinking it. You're like looking at him like, oh, it's a hilarious gag.
Uh,
You're trying to put that back on, and then you're like, oh, you are seriously.
because the thing is like
Because we both have 50 cents in a bank account.
I'm never serious about anything. I'm broken as a human being. I can't be serious about anything. And I have gone too far. Like with my girlfriend before where I've upset her because I just go too far with joking and I'm like I should
Oh
dial
yeah.
this back a bit. Like I can be
Yeah.
really mean
You realize
sometimes
like
and
this
not mean
person
it.
has feelings
Yeah.
hurting them.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
that's
the
me like
artists
every
don't
day.
do that. Other artists don't do that. Just comedians,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
kind of I halfway wonder if I'm going to get in so much trouble. I wonder if I'd be happy if I was dating a comedian, like happier. Cuz like that I mean was my dream for so long. It's like
What
I just want to date another comic.
But would it be a competition though? Because like, would you get jealous if like she just
I would 100%.
rocked a room, and then you go up after her and just completely shit bomb the place? And like, would you
Yeah.
get
I,
jealous?
I mean, me and my girlfriend are so competitive now. Like we can't play board games together. We can't because it'll start a fight. And I feel like if she was a comedian and she ever did better than me, I would be so jealous. You're right. I don't know if I could do it.
What about you, Genevieve? Would you get jealous if you had a comedian boyfriend that was, way funnier, or rock, like I said, rocked a room and then you bombed? Like, would you be jealous of something like that?
I mean, I don't, no, no. Well, okay. I have a lot of experience as like an art girlfriend.
Hmm.
Which is
Mm, okay.
like I used to date musicians and I would be like their roadie,
Yeah.
carrying up their shit. I had like my longest relationship in Mobile, the guy that like I almost married, that like I fucking blew up this engagement basically to get to this transformation point in my life right now. But anyway, he had a really great band called Sock Hop Stallions in Mobile. If you ever get the chance to see them, they're fucking great. But he was kind of a jealous guy in general. But like when he would do his shows, it's like I would be his roadie and like look after him and like carry his drums up the stairs and shit. And then like during his show, I would get to dance with every boy that I wanted to dance with
Hmm.
because I was like the hype man. I would get people dancing. So it's like he was able to put aside his jealousy for that situation because it's like he wants people dancing at his show. Because most of the time, especially in Mobile, and especially in Mobile like 5 years ago, I think the newer generation is more dance friendly. But like there have been times where it's like you can't get a crowd dancing. And so that's what I would do for him. And so I look for guys that will kind of do that for me. And I've experienced it. I don't know. I've dated a lot of comedians. Like, I will say, like with me and Ryan, I don't think that we would have worked as a comedian couple. And that's just our two personalities. Like, I'm not even talking shit. I also dated Alfred Ward for a while though. We had like nasty falling out. However, one thing about me and him, we always respect each other in an art forum. We met each other through performance poetry, and so it's like we're used to respecting each other in that forum. We've done writing workshops together. It's like even though it's like me and Alfred have more reason to be competitive with each other than me and Ryan do, but me and Alfred just have like this established, I guess, barrier to where it's like even when we fucking hated each other in Mobile in our personal lives, we're still like rooting for each other when we're on the stage if they're doing, the other person's doing good. So I think it just depends on the vibe. I think it is difficult. I think a great example of this is recently Megan Thee Stallion. She got like shot in the feet by her like boyfriend, who's also an artist, like while she was walking away. And it was this big thing, and everyone's making memes about it. Because like hip hop Twitter is just fucking mean.
Wow.
So like that was going on, but like here's the thing, like they had been like day drinking all day. Megan Thee Stallion has a very sexual persona. They're in a situation where business is mixed with socializing. So all day they're day drinking. She's kind of like the hotter, badder bitch in the relationship. She's like the big star. She has to kind of like flirt and schmooze with everybody. By the end of the night, he's jealous and pissed off. They're fighting. It doesn't even matter what they're fighting about. It's just they're two artists who've been mixing networking and drinking by the pool and socializing in business all day with each other in their little relationship. And it ends with him shooting her in the fucking feet.
Jesus.
And I think that, like, it just, even though will never know all the details of that situation. I mean, that is a good example of like what can happen. People get like raged at each other. So yeah, I don't know how to overcome that. It's something I think about because here's the thing, like I don't have time for a social life. So I can only fuck comedians, basically. And I'm not trying to like fuck all of Denver because I just got here.
Well, that's sort of
But it's like it's inevitable.
Well, that's the sort of the life of a person in entertainment too. Me coming from a musical background, like my social life was, the music and
going to shows.
Going to shows and stuff like that. And I still don't think I have much of a social life because even now, like the only times I go out. Even before the pandemic, the only time I go out is to go to open mics or things of that nature. So that really kind of is my social life. I don't even know what social life is, honestly. Like, what is social life?
I really resent it if I have to like wash my hair and like shave my legs and put on a dress for something other than being on stage.
Right.
So that's how I feel about having a social life.
Yeah.
Like I'm only gonna put it together if I'm getting stage time.
Right. That I'm also only gonna put on a dress if I'm getting stage time.
You should have respect for yourself. Show those titties.
Yeah, we loosely debated, me and my girlfriend. We decided I'm gonna be my daughter's first birthday party is gonna be carnival themed. And we decided that I'm going to dress up as a clown, but I was narrowly almost the bearded lady. Narrowly. But
I can see it.
Not to traumatize her.
That would be cool. Actually, you look really pretty in eye makeup.
Thank you. I get that a lot.
Really?
No.
I mean, you would. And you kind of have like a natural blush. You have great coloring.
Thank you. I look like a children's coloring book.
You're pretty white, man. You need to get out and get some sun.
No, I'm pretty, white. Thank you.
Pretty and white.
That's right.
He's a pretty.
But But we should get into our top 5 list for
Yes.
tonight, fellas. Fella and lady. Our top 5 is top 5 evil corporations I've worked for. It might not be a corporation, just could be like a shitty job you have. Genevieve, we'll start with you. What's your number 5?
My number 5. Oh God, I forgot even the order. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I was an independent contract entertainer at Barely Legal in New Orleans from like
Ooh.
2000 to 2015. And that's fucked up because like the pay structure is fucked up because independent
Yeah.
contract work is fucked up. It's not fucked up for the reasons you'd think. I
Yeah.
I like the job.
Really?
But there's some sketchy things about independent contract
Yeah.
that like they just fuck you over, like it's exploitative. Oh, I did get fired for getting fat.
What?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a conversation that stays with you forever. Oh my gosh, like also because it's barely legal, I had this weird complex through like all my mid-20s where I thought that I had expired. Like I thought
Yeah.
that
Well, it's kind
that
of
was over, like I was over.
it's kind of implicit in the
Huh?
name as well. I mean, it's a place called Barely
Yeah.
Legal, so that implies like 18.
Well, hold on. If you know anything about the porn industry, all of the barely legal porn stars are 32. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I've been 21 since I was 16.
oh no.
So
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine that would be the worst job ever just because you have nasty dudes that look like me and Jason gawking at you.
no, I don't know. I kind of specialized in dealing with like the well, y'all aren't even that ugly compared to what I dealt with.
Yeah. Not that ugly. Yeah.
Very flattered. But I specialized in dealing with like the disabled, overweight, and hideously deformed.
Mm.
And I have very
Okay.
long legs. I'm very flexible. So, really, really, really obese guys, they appreciate it if like you can like look them in the eyes and like find what I would always do. I find something beautiful about every person, so that I could look them in the eyes and compliment them without it being bullshit, because they're used to bullshit. But if I could tell them something honestly beautiful about them and make it true because it's true, then I have a connection. And then if I can like do this thing with my legs where I could find the penis and the penis was buried in the, and you have to use fucking tantric aerobic yoga to find it. And then if you can just find their penis, like you don't even have to grind on it that effectively. You're just like, wow, this is a great experience.
Yeah.
And so I made money doing that.
Well, that
Man, I wish
was.
someone
God,
could find my penis.
it's under the bridge.
Do you want to go, Jason, or do you want me to go with my
Yeah.
number
I'll go
5?
ahead and go. My number 5 is the job I had right before the one I have now. I am a graphic designer by trade, so I got a job with a local T-shirt company, and was told that I was going. They already had a graphic designer, but she was supposed to be going off to college, and I was going to be taking over her position, which was going to be awesome because I'd be able to work from home. But when I got hired on and started working, they made me start doing the actual screen printing of the T-shirts until she left. Until she left. And 2 months later, she was still working there, and I basically had the worst bosses I've ever had in my life. They hated what they did. They needed to just not do that work anymore. They hated the people that worked there. They made my life miserable every single day I went to work. I would go to sleep crying at night because I didn't want to go to work. I would wake up crying in the morning. I I just wanted to die. Like I got suicidal because I hated my job so much. I lasted 2 months at that place, and it was by far the worst place I've ever worked at in my life. I'm not going to say the name of it,
Wow.
but it
Yeah.
was hell on earth for 2 solid months.
That sounds horrible, man.
Yeah, it was terrible. What about you? What's
Uh,
your
so
number 5?
Yeah, my number five. It's a little weird because I can't say the name of it because I signed a contract that said if I say anything even slightly negative about this company, that they will sue me for slander. And it's that kind of rule, like those kind of rules that like this whole company, it's online writing, right? Like I've been writing online since I was 14 years old, and I've since by the time I was 17 I worked my way up to where I was getting paid for it.
Hmm.
And so I've been trying to get on this company for years, the entire time I've been writing. It's like the biggest entertainment writing company in the world. If you're an entertainment writer, you want to write for them. I'll tell you guys who it is after we wrap.
Okay.
But it's just the I read the agreement before I signed the contract, and that's I imagine something a lot of people don't do, but it was literally Nazi Germany type rules. Like
Hmm.
stuff like you can't write anywhere else while you're writing for us because we're afraid you're going to leak trade secrets. Like if a
What?
website that you write for after us does anything similar to what we do, we'll sue them because you stole our trade secrets.
Wow.
And
That's
I'm
like
like,
standard. Like normally it's like you can't publish something super similar somewhere else.
yeah,
But like,
I can understand if it's the same stories, but I mean, like entirely different stuff. Like while I'm writing for them, I couldn't write for anyone else. And you know what? I'll sign that contract any day of the week if that's paying my bills. But I made $3 a month because the pay scale was you get $1 per 1,000 people that read your shit. So
Ugh.
every month, 3,000 people read my shit, and I got $3 for those 3,000 people that read my shit.
That's awful.
So yeah, and it's like just the editors were horrible. Like everyone was so hard to work with. Everyone was stealing ideas out from under you. Just a really shitty place to work, and they can get away with it because they're essentially the Amazon of online writing.
Wow.
But well, what's your number four, Genevieve?
I guess since you mentioned Amazon, I'll just go ahead and say Amazon. I worked at Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
That's one of my many jobs where they've tried to like control when and I can and can't, which is like a lot of my jobs for various different reasons.
Wow.
Which I have a theory that that's how you become a billionaire is you set up a structure where at the lowest level your employees aren't allowed to go to the bathroom.
Jesus
And
Christ.
that's the only way to create a productive enough supply chain that you can succeed. Amazon was bullshit though because like they set up every warehouse, they set up the way your schedule functions and the way everything functions to maximize on how much they can rip you off within like the local state laws and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they would have me working like 3 or 4 hour shifts just so they didn't have to give me any breaks. And
Wow.
then I would have to go home after. And that's like all I that's like it. Like I just drove to Theodore to fucking work for 4 hours. But I didn't experience a lot of financial opportunity in Mobile, so I was willing to accept that bullshit.
Yeah, that's insane. Especially considering I work at Pizza Hut right now. I take a shit every day. Even if I don't have to shit, I hold it for work
Save on
because
I
that's
got
toilet
my
my.
paper at
period
home.
done.
Oh yeah.
While I was doing cable guy work, I got my period, and it's like a man job. A man job, you can't like stop a job to go to a bathroom. Like you
Yeah.
work out of a truck. There's um, that shit was
Yeah.
so bad.
Ew.
Oh
Yeah, I
no.
wish I could take a shit. Never shits.
Yeah. I mean, that's like my only break because I work part time, so they're not required to give us breaks or lunch. So I'll like just go take a shit and then like when I get done, like just make myself some wings and shamelessly steal from the company. Because what are they gonna do? Fire me? I don't need the job.
Yeah.
But
They need you.
they do need me actually. I'm about to be promoted to manager after working there for 2 months.
Jesus, I'm not eating there.
Nice.
Yeah, don't, dude, don't. Especially if I'm making your pizza. Well, what's your number 4, Jason?
My number 4 is I used to work. I don't even know if I should say it, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I used to work for the Hard Rock Cafe,
Yeah.
and it was one of those jobs where they would work you to death for very little money. And I would work sometimes, 12, 13, 14-hour shifts and get a 5-minute break. And it's
Wow.
like and to go get a smoke break, you would have to go all the way across the casino to go outside through the employee area, and it would take you 10 minutes to walk that far. So as soon as you get out there, you get like 2 puffs on a cigarette and then have to run all the way back to go back to work. And I would get like 1 break a day and like a 12-hour shift. They wouldn't let you have anything to eat. You had to pay full price for your meals. And it was awful. I think I worked there for like 4 months. My first day there, I was coming in for the night shift, and this was my first or second day. And the guy I was working on the grill with told me to go to the back in the walk-in cooler and grab a slat of steaks, and they would get their steaks in like these big boxes, and you just bring the box up and load up, the drawer underneath with all the frozen steaks and just take them out as you need them. So I go into the cooler, and the day shift manager is in the cooler. Somebody had been in there before me and dropped some shredded cheese all over the floor. Dude started screaming at me that I had done it and needed to clean it up and all this shit. I'm like, dude, this is like my first fucking day, and you're screaming at me. And I went and told the manager, and they didn't do anything about it. And yeah, I lasted like 4 months at that job.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of bad things about the Hard Rock, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Actually, one of my ex-boyfriends, he was a street juggler in New Orleans when I was a stripper. Um, he worked at Hard Rock Cafe, and he wrote some articles that got published somewhere about like they have this thing called 30-second likability when they're hiring people, and it sounded really culty and weird. This
Wow.
was like Hard Rock New Orleans too, so probably just like super fucking tourist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like they have a weird culture.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they
definitely had
definitely
a
do.
weird vibe working there. Like there was definitely like, the clique of people that had worked there together, and as an outsider coming in, I was definitely not welcome, and they had no bones about making me feel unwelcome there to work. And I remember
Yeah.
my first night too. They tried to send me to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse to get a left-handed frying pan. I'm like, how fucking stupid do you think I am? Like, I'm not stupid. No, I'm not gonna do that. But what about you,
Wow.
Jacob? What are we number 4?
Yeah, so spoiler alert, my numbers 1 through 4 are all McDonald's. Um I've only ever worked I've only ever written online, worked at McDonald's, and now I work at Pizza Hut, and I'm currently employed there, so I'm not going to shit on them yet. Uh but yeah, my number
Yeah, you
4
got the bonus patient first.
yeah, exactly. I at least need to get some paychecks first. But I have 4 different reasons though, and I think they're all valid reasons. My number 4 reason McDonald's is fucking evil and horrible is that I wasn't ever trained to do anything working there. I worked there for about a month, maybe 2 months. Uh, I watched one training video to learn how to do French fries, and I could do French fries better than any motherfucker in that whole store. I know French fries. I know about fryers now. Like at work at Pizza Hut, like we have a Wing Street fryer.
Yeah.
I run that shit, bro. Like I'll fix it. I'll
Yeah.
clean it out. Like I know everything about the fucking fryers. And one day, one of the managers just came up to me and was like, "Hey, go take orders." I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I take orders now." and then I guess
I do
I
the
guess
wrong
I do
thing.
drive through. Like, yeah, it's like they don't train you to do anything, and then they have me taking orders, and they have a trainee watching me to learn what to do while I'm taking orders, and I'm
Jesus.
like, I'm as I'm as new as this guy. I can't teach him anything. He needs to help me find out where shit is on here.
No wonder it takes like 10 minutes to get your freaking food in the drive-through.
Dude,
Jeez.
I am telling you, uh, everyone watching, please do not get upset at McDonald's workers because you don't understand how much they're not trained. They are never trained properly. It is not their fault.
Dude,
They're only 16.
that's apparent. Every time I walk into any fast
Yeah.
food place, nobody knows what the hell they're doing ever.
No, we're all just pretending.
Yeah.
But
And the milkshake machine is good.
that fucking machine is super hard to figure out. The McCafe machine?
I bet it's hard to clean.
I wouldn't know. We don't clean anything. We didn't clean anything at our McDonald's.
Ew.
But what's your number 3, Genevieve?
Oh god, there's so many. Oh, real quick, here's one. I don't think I thought of before, but my very first job, I was 15. I got a job at Three George's candy store on Dolphin Street, and they fired me because I had no personality.
Oh wow!
What?
Bad personality. I have no personality.
Wow.
This woman told me wherever she is, fuck you. This woman told me, and I was just like 15 and trying to figure out how to make, how to work their milkshake equipment or whatever, and just like, having conversations and being myself. And she told me that she could get a homeless person off the street to be personable, and that I had no personality.
Oh my
Like none.
Oh my
God.
No
God.
personality.
Imagine
Like-
telling that to a future comedian.
Yeah, like a 15-year-old pubescent future comedian. Yeah, I just, man, and the girls they hired after me, I guess they have personality because I don't know. Maybe it just, well, that's why I like being a stripper though, because my personality like works there, because I have a drier personality like than some people, I guess. Like I don't have like 30-second likability or whatever. Like my face doesn't do that thing. I have to make it do that thing. To practice smiling in the mirror. I smile all the time. I don't know. I'm a happy person. It's just I'm not bubbly. And fuck Mobile. Also fuck Mobile. I wasn't gonna get on here. I was just telling myself when I was driving my work truck home, I'm like, I'm not gonna be like fuck Mobile. I'm gonna be grateful for Mobile. But then I drank this cup of moonshine and fuck Mobile. Because in Mobile people get an idea in their head about who the fuck you are, and it is so fucking impossible to shake. And all I had to do to shake all that negativity was fucking leave. And randomly strangers that I don't know believe in me. And now I can do shit.
Yeah.
But in Mobile, I show up to work at a candy shop, the easiest fucking job, and I'm told I have no personality. The fuck Mobile.
Wow.
Was that your number 3, or was that just a quick side note you wanted to throw out there?
I mean, I guess Three Georges. I mean, Sears call center
Yeah.
is fucked up. Because Sears is a dying business. That's fucked up. That's another one where you can't pee whenever you want because it'll fuck up your call rate. Interesting thing about Sears got acquired by a trust, like a fund guy, a hedge fund manager, named Eddie Lampert, who had just acquired Kmart. And the day that he acquired Kmart, he actually got kidnapped by like this ragtag group of like 19 to 22-year-old Hispanic guys. And they took him to a hotel, and they were like holding him for ransom, and they like had him like chained to like the toilet, and they were like threatening his life and shit, and he like bought them pizza and talked them out of it and got out of the kidnapping. And then he bought Sears. And he just never talked about that again, and like no one knows why he got kidnapped.
That's
So Sears is weird, and it was a dying call center in Mobile, Alabama. So that sucked.
Wow.
I
That's
used to walk to the bar. It patches like during my lunch break. Oh, this was the lowest point of my life. So I was engaged to marry a shipyard worker, and I was working at Sears, and I hated myself, and I had an 8 p.m. curfew in my relationship, so I couldn't even get into comedy or anything like that. I couldn't do anything. So just hated
That's
myself. So I
fucked
got
up.
really into drinking secretly. So I would walk across the parking lot to Patches, shout out Patches, West Mobile, and I would drink as much as I could within my lunch break and make it back and then sell engine parts. That
Wow.
was awesome.
That's
And
a
no
lot
one
of
like
that's like a lot of information to take in all at once
Yeah.
about the Sears guy and the going getting drunk on my lunch break. I feel like a lot of people in call centers do that though, because I mean call centers are a really rough place,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know how Wally does it, man.
yeah.
Wally's been working there for a long time. I don't want to say
Yeah,
where he works, but he
yeah.
works.
Wally does it because he's a boss man, man.
Yeah. He's been through the trenches.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
what are we on now? You're number 3, Jason?
Yeah, but I'm gonna combine this one into 3 through 1 because
Okay.
being a musician and being signed to Universal and Imprint Records, um, which was a label that was Imprint was a small label made by Todd Harrell of Three Doors Down. They got us signed to Universal. We got dropped from Universal, and then we were signed to Imprint Records, which was Todd Harrell's label. And basically, we made them a shit ton of money and were slave labor because for the entire year and a half, 2 years, we were on that label and touring and selling records and making them money. I made a grand total of $0.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, you've talked about that before to me. Isn't Todd Harrell the piece of shit that's in jail now for the
Yeah.
DUI?
Well, that and he killed someone too.
Yeah.
Because of a DUI, he ran into a guy and the guy died. So yeah, he's in prison for I think manslaughter at this point.
Yeah, well, fuck that guy, man.
yeah. Sounds like it worked out in
Yeah.
Karma's favor there.
We did a lot of
Yeah.
work for that label. We did everything they asked us to do. We toured wherever they told us to go, did everything they asked to do, and made them a shit ton of money, and they blew it. And we never made a dime. And then when we were dropped, they said we owed them $300,000 because we were going to get signed to another
Wow.
label. And I'm like, I had my accountant look through everything, and he's like, dude, if anything, they owe you $300,000. Like, screw that shit. So yeah, the music
Yeah.
industry is awful. Well, as most entertainment industries are pretty bad.
Yeah, man, I can't wait until I make it big enough to get ripped off.
Yeah. Oh, and there's no shortage of people ready to rip you off for every dime you have.
Yeah, that's how it is in comedy too, man. Like for every, one good person you meet, there's like two skeezy bar owners that'll stab you in the fucking back.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so my number 3 reason I hate McDonald's is the fact that all of the managers that work there, and by the way, on a shift, there was a manager to match every crew person. So there were like maybe 6 crew people and 6 managers.
Ugh.
I swear to God, on every fucking shift. So if they wanted to, they could just hover over you and micromanage everything you did. But I hated it because they didn't work a day in their fucking lives. Like we did everything for the managers. I did all of their work. When it was time for me to clock out, one of the managers would come to me and like, "Oh, hey, go do this real quick," while they go and sit on their fucking ass and eat free food
Yeah.
and play on their phone. They're like, "Oh," and then another manager, like, I never got to clock out because one of the 6 managers would come up to me every time I reached for the clock to go and be like, "Oh, hey, no, go mop the floor, go fill the fridge, go fill the ice." I'm like, hey, why can't you fucking do it? You make more than me.
I want to be a McDonald's manager now.
Dude,
Yeah,
McDonald's
McDonald's
managers, they're literally the worst people because they're either some 18-year-old who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, or there's some 45-year-old who used to be an 18-year-old that just had the same job forever, and they're a fucking piece of shit and never
Retired
made anything for
18-year-old.
themselves. If you're a McDonald's manager, fuck you.
Well, there goes our
Because
McDonald's
fan base.
Yeah. So what about you, Genevieve?
Oh, McDonald's players gonna come after us.
What's your number two?
One of my best. Yeah. What's your number two, Jen?
My number two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Waffle House. Fuck Waffle House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Waffle House.
Fucking government food specifically. Oh my god, Waffle House. Okay, so you know, like when you order to go from Waffle House, there's like 10% gratuity already added, so it's like I don't even have to tip, which is great because it's like it's not like she's my waitress anyway. Except, okay, McDonald's. I mean, not McDonald's. Waffle House. We have to put together. You have to put together your order. We have to wash your own dishes. You know, at a normal place, a person's gonna at least get paid minimum wage to wash dishes. At Waffle House, you gotta wash your own dishes. You're not getting paid for that, you know? And then the 10% gratuity on the to-go, it takes forever to put together a to-go order. It's really fucking annoying. Like, tip on to-go orders because it distracts us from real money. It's really fucking annoying. And that 10% gratuity, our boss tries to steal that from us every single week. Like, if you don't keep up with how much you're owed, you're not going to get it. Like, I would have to fight for my paycheck every fucking week. That place owes me so much fucking money. There was one time I worked a 20-hour shift, and they set it up so that it was 2 different days in different pay periods. So I didn't even get overtime that week. And I worked 20 hours in one stretch. The best part of my day was when I walked out to take out the trash because I got to go outside. When I was like, why am I working a 20-hour shift? Everyone was like, everyone has to do this. And that's like how the culture was. Like, oh, everyone has to do this. Like, don't be a bitch ass. Except I didn't make any fucking money on that 20-hour shift.
Yeah.
I walked out like with $40 in tips because it was like slow days, and they always set me up so I start on like the worst possible shift. Because when I first started working there, one day I drank a whole lot of coffee and put $5 in the jukebox. I cleaned the shit out of that place. My boss decided that I was a cleaning rock star, which meant he was going to put me on the cleaning shift, which is the no money shift. I had a college degree. I was in Mobile. No one would hire me. None of the bars would hire me because everyone just fucking hates me in Mobile. Like, I don't know. Like, for some reason, everyone fucking thinks that I'm an idiot in Mobile. So the best that I could fucking do is this bullshit. And for many fucking years, I believed I was an idiot because everyone treated me like I'm a fucking idiot and I'm incompetent and I'm just a loser. And I fucking believed it. And all I had to do was like leave Mobile for 5 seconds, realize I'm not an idiot, get this cable guy job. Cable guy jobs will never fucking hire me in Mobile ever because they think I'm physically and just emotionally and intellectually incapable. Like, that's how I was treated on a daily fucking basis in Mobile. And I don't want to totally shit on Mobile because there are some great people. There's great Mobile's an eclectic place that, you know, made me what I am, and I got a lot of support there too. But just the daily assault on my personhood I feel from Mobile. Like, I'm still fucking bitter about it because I go somewhere else and I see how easy it is to not get treated like you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And fucking Waffle House on Government Street treated me like I'm a fucking idiot. They owe me money. I'm never gonna see it. They made me sign some contract too. Probably I'm not allowed to talk shit, but you know what? Fuck them. They have an exploitative system. They don't adjust your paycheck when you make less than minimum wage. They don't adjust your paycheck. You have to fight the boss for that money.
Wow.
You have to fight him for minimum wage if you don't make more than that with tips. And it's just, and fuck that fucking boss. I wish I remembered his name.
Yeah.
It was one of those names that starts with TY, like Ty. I don't think it was Tyrone, Ty something. But fuck you. Fuck you.
I still
know who you are, Tyrone, possibly.
I still like to eat at Waffle House, though.
But you know, Jason Waterfalls works at Waffle House, and that's all you need to know about that place. They will employ the scum of the earth. No offense, Genevieve. I'm glad you're not there anymore.
Maybe I was the scum. That year I was the scum. That was the year I got like fired for being a stripper for being fat. So I was.
Oh no!
I was
you
rock
you
bottom.
went from stripper to Waffle House waitress. That's like the farthest from grace.
It was the roughest fall. Because like when you're at a strip club, if someone fucks with you, you could punch them in the face, and it's okay, it's acceptable. But you can't do that. Waitressing, I can't be a fucking waitress because I just oh.
Yeah, that's
I
frowned
can't
upon at
control
most
myself.
restaurants to punch your
Most
customer in
of
the
them,
face.
Yeah.
But my number two, because you said that your 1 through 3 was being a musician, right, Jason?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so my number 2 reason that I hate McDonald's is because one of my managers actually got me physically burned, and it was entirely his fault. And so what happened is I work surrounded by 16-year-old girls. I mean, surrounded by 16-year-old girls that have no fucking clue what they're doing. And one of the 16-year-old girls dropped a packet of maple syrup in one of my fryers. I don't know why the fuck they were by my fryer, but they were, and they dropped it in there. And instead of, the manager that did this, all has been forgiven since then because I went in one time after I quit and I brought it up to him and he gave me a free Oreo McFlurry. So all's forgiven.
Water under the bridge.
But this guy, I went to college with him, so he's only a year older than me, and he's a manager at McDonald's. And this genius, instead of draining the fryer, just puts a fucking metal cover over this hot fryer. And I don't know that he's doing this. Like, I'm working my ass off. I'm working 3 different stations, and I need another fryer. And so I try to pick up this metal cover, and the handle isn't hot, but the handle's broken because everything at McDonald's is broken. And in almost slow motion, it just turns the entire thing and burns the fuck out of my arm right here. And I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital because it looked like a fucking 3rd-degree burn. And that was one of the worst days of my life, to be honest.
You should get free McFlurries for life after that.
I should. I tried bringing it up to him again, but he was like, "Nah, man, that's all I can do." So I was like, "All right, whatever."
You know he can do more. He just doesn't want to clean the McFlurry machine.
Yeah, basically, he basically doesn't want to spend $2.75 to buy me a McFlurry because he burned the fuck out of my arm and I didn't even say anything to anybody.
You should have said something. If you said something, you would have recourse.
Well, if I said something to the general manager, you'll understand why I didn't say anything to the general manager once we get to my number 1. But I want to know your number 1, Genevieve.
My number 1. Oh god. I feel like I've already done my number 1, so these aren't really in order. But another person that I worked for who didn't let me go to the bathroom was Michael Bloomberg. I did canvassing work for him. You know what? Fuck him, but at the same time, it's like you wouldn't believe how many Bernie supporters made enough money working for Michael Bloomberg that they were able to take care of themselves through the pandemic. And so you know what? Like, he's my number 1 on this list, but also it's like he's kind of responsible for my livelihood right now because like when I first moved here, that was the first job that I got. And I was working like 10 hours a day, going door to door, preaching the good word of Michael Bloomberg, handing out those fucking flyers everyone threw away. And at one point, like at the height of it, because they kept giving us raises for like going harder and like going to the bathroom less. Like, how long can you hold your pee for Michael Bloomberg? And I was like as long as it takes. Like, I'll pee myself a little bit. Like everybody else is. So at the height of that, I was making $30 an hour that last week that I was doing it.
Wow.
Michael Bloomberg drops out of the room. That job ends, and then immediately the pandemic happens. So all the money that I made, like I think I only really worked like 3 weeks before I was unemployed up until 2 weeks ago. I was unemployed aside from comedy. I was making no money at all. Which is like, if anyone like gives me shit about performing during COVID, it's like, I'm sorry, if you have no money and someone's like, I will give you $20 to tell 10 minutes of jokes, like, you're gonna fucking do it.
For sure.
Like, cause I can't be sucking dick for money because COVID.
Yeah.
So comedy, obviously. But Michael Bloomberg kind of saved my life. So you know what? I know that I spent this whole thing talking shit, and I said I wasn't going to talk shit. But good on you, Michael Bloomberg. Thank you.
Yes.
Like, I would be dead.
Leave it to Michael Bloomberg to put a price on how long you can hold your pee.
Yeah.
That is a smart businessman right there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he hates large sodas.
Never thought about that.
That makes sense. Oh
That
my
makes
gosh.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But my number one reason that I hate McDonald's is because the general manager of my store physically shoved me, and that's when I quit.
Why did
Was
he
when-
shove you?
You know what? To this day, I've been asking myself this question. So I was doing the French fries, and the thing about this general manager is he has nothing to do. Like, he could just go home and everything would be fine. So he has to find something to correct every single day. And it just so happened he filled up, like, I mean, he corrected how I fill up small fry bags. So I filled up a fry bag full, and then he comes over, he takes it out of my hand, and he dumps it out. And he's like, "Nah, this is how you do it." And he fills it so full that it's like pouring over his hand. And I'm like, "Okay, well, you're just being fucking ridiculous." And then he dumps it out in the thing again and throws the fry bag in it, and like throws the thing down, and he's like, "All right, fill it up." And I said, "No, couldn't you just keep the fries that you put in there and hand it out?" And he said, "Fine, I'll do it then." And he shoved me out of the way, physically. And at this point, as a testosterone-fueled 18-year-old man, I'm thinking to myself, do I quit this job or do I dunk this man's head in the fryer?
Yeah.
And I think I made the correct decision.
Yeah.
You made the adult choice.
I made the adult's choice to just fucking quit McDonald's that day. Because once someone physically shoves you, like, that's when I walk out. Like, you physically put your hands on me, it's over. Like, I'm not fucking dealing with that.
I've worked restaurant jobs before,
Yeah.
but I have never worked fast food. I don't think I would last a day, honestly.
People don't talk about the fact that pay per hour and work per hour ratio, fast food workers do the most work out of anyone else in the US.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
there's
hate
no
it when
doubt
people
about
say
that.
you're just flipping burgers, because it's like, no, like flipping burgers, that's you're doing everything.
Yeah. I mean, even at Pizza Hut, I make fucking minimum wage and I do as much as the managers are doing. Like,
Yeah.
I do every single thing.
Well, it's just
And it's not like it's a job that's unneeded, because think about how unhappy you would be if there was no one to hand you chicken McNuggies, you know?
yeah.
I would cry. I would really cry.
Honestly, like I have worked restaurant jobs, and I think food service is probably like, I don't know. There's just something inherently awful about having to work food service. Like I'm so
Yeah.
happy that I don't have to work food service anymore. Even though I'm not doing what I love to do, I don't mind my job that much. I actually have a job now where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, gotta go to work. And it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I've never had a job that I didn't mind waking up going to until this job. And that's why, even though I'm not rich or anything, but I make a comfortable living. I get to do what I like to do, go out at night and do comedy. I still get to play music. So I'm quite happy where I'm at in life. But man, if I ever had to go back and work a restaurant job, I would rather just be homeless.
Mm-hmm. I think having a regular schedule is super important for a performer, and restaurant jobs, they think they're more important than your fucking life.
Yeah.
Oh,
They think, and
100%.
restaurants are stupid. Restaurants are dumb, and I think this is my favorite part about the pandemic is that it's revealed to a lot of people. It's like I can cook really beautiful things and like have beautiful food in my house. And restaurants is an archaic fucking system that's built on exploitation, which the waiters that are making a lot of money will like defend it and shit, but if you a lot of waiters aren't. They're just not.
Well,
Yeah.
another thing too
And
about restaurants is they don't give a shit if you're sick. Like they just want you there. I can't tell you how many times I had to go to work working for a restaurant and just being, deathly ill, running a fever, vomiting, and having to go to work because you can't find anybody to work
vomiting
your
and
shift.
diarrhea at the same time,
Yeah.
and you're telling your boss it's coming out of both ends.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I'll be there in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really had to fight to get time off when the doctors told me I had to quarantine because I got exposed to COVID at work because one of my employees has like a whole house, or one of the managers has like a whole house full of COVID positive people. And I had to like really fight to get 48 hours off so that I don't, possibly infect 100 people.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like with all this going on, do you really think that there aren't people that have COVID like working right now at the fast food places?
Yeah.
I guarantee you
There
there
are
are.
100%.
100%.
Dude.
Yeah.
When this happened, I was the only person that got tested. And I got my test results back within 24 hours negative.
Yeah.
No one else fucking got tested. And I'm like, one of y'all motherfuckers has it. I know for a fact one of y'all do. I'm wearing my mask all the time in that
Yeah.
bitch.
But
it is
Yeah.
ridiculous, man. I get called
You
in
gotta
every
go through
day.
oh, that's
Like
another
I
thing.
have been I think I've been exposed probably in my various things. Well, I think when I was working for Michael Bloomberg, I touched every house.
Yeah.
I touched
Yeah.
thousands of houses
So many
all over, and
doorknobs.
that was at the beginning of COVID. Like capitalism doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, hopefully after all this, we realize that we need to make some serious changes to our system. And I think one of the things that would go a long way in helping that is not only should we get um, mandated at least 2 weeks vacation every year for every employee to not go crazy, we need to have health care in this country. And I am a big proponent of basic universal basic income. And I think that's something we seriously need to think about because in the next 5 years, automation is going to take away so many jobs. It's going to literally people's heads are going to explode at how many jobs are lost because of automation and artificial intelligence. They're going to take over so many jobs, like truck drivers. There's not going to be such thing as a truck driver in 5 years. So what are we going to do to kind of offset and make people, and I know the argument is like, oh, you give people $1,000 a month, they're not going to work. Who the fuck's not going to work if they're just making $1,000 a month? Nobody can live off of that.
Well, no, like I can't. I definitely can. I could live in a shoe.
I would
But
still
Yeah.
work. I would
here's what
still
I
work
think,
and
moving
take.
somewhere more liberal. Like Colorado has better services and shit. Like when during the pandemic, I was able to qualify for Medicaid, like full fucking Medicaid, which I couldn't get in Alabama at all. I was able to get food stamps really easily, which even when I qualified for in Alabama, like the system would fuck me over so many fucking times. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I'd give them a form and they act like I don't have it. And then I got to wait longer. And then, oh, you made $1 too much this
Yeah.
month to
Oh,
qualify for
no.
EBT. Like, they deliberately try to fuck you over. So I moved here. I have I have free therapy, first of all, with Medicaid.
Whoa.
I have
Yeah.
free dentist. I got to go to the dentist for the first time in 6 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
They
Wow.
like filled all my teeth. They
It-
took one of them. I won't let them take my front teeth though, because those are my money makers. But they've been taking the back one.
And also too,
I
if
used to chew
people,
tobacco, so it's just fucked up. It's fucked up in there.
You know, if
But like I
people,
have mental health care access, I have food, I have like dentists, and these things made my life better. Like exponentially
yeah,
fucking better. And in Alabama, people say I can't have those things. People say I'm not allowed to have those things, like when shit's really bad. And like, here's the thing: I'm fucking mentally ill. I'm a fucking insane person. I need medication. And now I can get it.
yeah,
And it's like suddenly, it's like my life is good and I'm productive. And it was that fucking easy. It was just moving to a place where the government actually takes care of you and like wants you to vote, as opposed to a place where the government just like fuck you. Like
Yeah.
fuck Sandy Simpson, Mayor of Mobile, fuck Kay Ivey,
and well, the
fucking
thing is,
closet lesbian.
you
Though I'm
know,
not bashing her for being a closet lesbian because I'm queer. It's cool that she's a lesbian. It sucks that she sucks.
yeah.
Fuck Kay Ivey.
And if all American citizens are given $1,000 a month, think of all the stuff people could do with it. I mean, people could go and get, dental work done. People could go to the hospital and have procedures that they need done. Me personally, I would take that $1,000 a month and invest in it so that maybe one day I could fucking retire. As of right now,
Yeah.
I'm going to be working until the day I drop dead because I don't have a retirement
Because
plan.
he's not going to be in Social Security.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same with my dad, dude. He has no retirement plan and he's 51.
yeah. I can't
No,
tell
with
you
no money
I
saved.
guarantee you 90% of Generation X, my generation, has no retirement. And we have no hope of getting retirement because Social Security is not going to be there for us. The boomers have sucked
Yeah.
everything dry, pretty much. And
Man,
we're left with nothing.
yeah. I mean, $1,000 a month would be great for me. Like, I would literally just quit my job because I make $400 a month working at Pizza Hut.
Yeah, but imagine if
I
you
make
could.
$100 a week.
Yeah, but imagine if you were getting that money, the $1,000 a month, you could go get a job that you actually enjoy doing and not have to
That is
worry
very true.
about.
Yeah, and save some money aside. Not have to work fucking like a
Yeah,
billion hours a week and not have a
Yeah.
life
yeah.
and then not be able to do shit.
There's more family time. There would be more artistic endeavors. People want to start a business. $1,000 goes a long way to starting your own business. And just all
Yeah,
that
dude.
kind of stuff that people don't want to think about because all they think about is, well, who's going to pay for it? The taxpayer. Like, you realize you're going to get $1,000 too, right? Because you're a
Yeah.
taxpayer. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
about
If,
you.
if the answer was Mexico, we would have it already.
Yeah. But actually, we're going on an hour and 20 minutes, so we need to kind of get this thing wrapped up. So, Genevieve, thank
Mhm.
thank you for coming on
Yeah.
the show.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'm sorry we
Thank
never
you
got
for
to
having me.
actually meet in person, but hopefully we will one of these days.
No, never do. Pandemics are gonna last forever.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I really think that this is just the new normal. Like this is
So,
it.
bef-
There will be no. Well, no, I'll probably travel. I guess I've already. Are y'all doing comedy in Mississippi? What's going on with that?
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
it's extremely hard to get booked. There's a couple open mics.
yeah.
If you want to make any money off of it, you can't really.
Yeah.
That's
So,
Yeah.
I'm making like a really small amount.
tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs and your podcast as well.
So What I Miss podcast. With a capital D on the what? So What I Miss podcast. I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on, all the things also. Like Podbean and Stitcher and Apple and stuff. And I'm on Twitter at SWDIM podcast. And I am on Instagram as the same thing. I do comedy. I am gonna be in Centennial, Colorado tomorrow at 8 p.m. at Finn McCool's. If that's happening, everything changes day to day.
Yeah.
Um, it
Yeah.
all changes day to day. You can find me in somebody's yard doing comedy.
Well, if you're listening to this and want to hire Genevieve to come tell jokes in your yard, hit her up. Just look for So What Did I Miss podcast on all platforms. And thank you so much, Genevieve, for coming.
Yes.
Just a side
Thank
note for all of
you.
our listeners, we're going to drop our Patreon by the beginning of the month. So August is going to be our first month for Patreon subscribers. We're going to just look out for that on Facebook, and then we'll keep you guys updated, you know?
Yeah, just keep us updated on everything. This weekend, this is probably going to drop Saturday morning. So if you're listening to this Saturday morning, the Frets for Pets is going on this weekend, and we just talked to Mark Simmons a few weeks ago. And you just go on to Facebook, look up Frets for Pets, and there's going to be stuff going on all weekend. And you can donate to help the doggies and the kitties and all that stuff. And you'll see videos from me, Jacob, most of the Coast comedians, a lot of the Coast musicians and all that kind of stuff. So keep an eye out for that this weekend. And please, if you have some extra cash, please help out the local animal shelters and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and play our music. And if you would like to send us an email, it is openmikerspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us at Open Mikers Podcast on Twitter and on Facebook too, Open Mikers Podcast. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys, and we will see you next Thursday. And thank you guys for watching on Twitch. And I will see you guys. No Saturday stream this week. I have to work, but I will be streaming Sunday afternoons. Join me for that. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.